Hey everybody, it is Tash B TV, and I'm super excited about the guest that I have to share with you today. Today I'm speaking to Justine Malone from Malone and Camille Creative Agency. And some of the things I'm really excited to be sharing with you from Justine is work around being a graphic designer, some of the hints and tips that you guys can implement in your business to get the most out of your design. And also to talk to Justine about her transition as well, from going from working in corporate and into freelancing, and actually then building up her freelancing business into a creative agency. So Justine, welcome.
Right.
So just to let everybody know, you and I have known each other now for quite a few years, but we actually worked together about 9 years ago. We were just sort of reminiscing there, but we worked together when I was managing Moving Comfort and you did all of the design work on that. And then we worked together as well when you first got into freelance, because you designed Boost Marketing Services, my logo, which has now transitioned a little bit, but you've still created the main element of that, which is the bee that I still use today in my logo, and the color scheme and everything about that. So it's been a while. So what I'm really keen to hear about, because I think you and I think we started at the transition too at similar times, didn't we? From memory, moving out of corporate and starting our own businesses.
Yeah, probably within the first 6 months.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So tell me, how did you go from moving from the corporate space, having a boss, having an office space, and having that routine, I guess, moving into freelancing and, you know, being responsible for your own work, your own time, and making your own money?
At first it was very fast. I pretty much woke up one day and I decided I don't want to work for somebody else anymore.
Yes.
It kind of sparked, as a designer, you know, you put a lot of love and effort into the things that you design. At the time I was doing a lot of colour ups for the Buttler, and I would go into the shops and I would see them in the stores and I'd see people wearing them and nobody knew I'd done them. Oh, my, designs, I don't know. Obviously I worked with a team, but I could never like say it was mine. I wanted to feel more ownership over my work. Mm-hmm. And the more I thought about it, the more I got the idea of having my own clients and having ownership over the work, presenting it as, you know, the company's work and stuff. So literally overnight I signed up as a sole trader online. Within a week, built the website, put all the portfolio together, and handed my resignation letter to the company. And I had one little client.
Wow! So you really did. You jumped ship you just jumped from corporate straight into, yep, that's it, sink or swim.
Yeah, most people don't. Most people will obviously build like that. But at the time, I was quite sporadic with my life decisions, and I thought, hey, what's the worst that could happen? You know, I'll find a job.
Yeah.
So I thought, one door closes, another one opens. I'm just going to do it. And it was good because I started off with one client, but I got to set up the company, or the sole trader company, up really slowly and well. You know, all of the things from job folders to learning the accounting software, learning just general business management of, like, I guess, all the business and stuff in the background. And from there, it just grew. I felt like it grew to the size that I needed to grow. It didn't grow too fast for me to handle. Yeah, it was very slow. And the biggest hurdle that I had to overcome was not getting paid weekly. So it was kind of that shock. Oh, wow, there's no money coming weekly. And you kind of get freaked out a little bit, thinking, oh, no, when's the next job? So as a backup, I went and freelanced at our agency in Melbourne. So therefore, I was my own boss. I could have time. and that's when I hooked into the AFL freelance, like their little creative studio there.
Wow, that's a big gig to get. That's a nice one on the portfolio.
Yeah, they were absolutely amazing to work for, and I learned so much working for them and under the creative director and art director there. But that was kind of the start. I juggled freelance at the AFL, and then built my own client base really slowly.
Yep.
And then I got pregnant. So that kind of threw everything out of the way.
Yes. So tell me, how did you go about building that client base?
That just was another client, really.
So,
well, I think once people found out that I had gone on my own, I was a graphic designer, because I had more time to promote myself, I was able to talk to people, and every person I met, I would say, I'm a designer, like, what do you do? I went to a couple of networking catch-ups and meetups.
Yes.
But it was a good amount of friends that helped, and the first 3 clients I had were all in my friendship group, and they are still today.
Fantastic.
It was their dad owned a business, or they worked at a company that had just lost their designer. But yeah, constantly talking, doing good work. I found over deliver, not undercharge, but over deliver and deliver faster than what you've said. So you really I just wanted to make sure that people knew that I put my whole heart into it, and that just gives you a good name. So.
Oh, absolutely. I think that, what you prescribe to that there, is just over delivering and just giving, it constantly surprising, I think, your clients with great work, and giving them, just those little bits extra that they sort of weren't expecting. It's really key that a lot of people forget. And I think too, in your space, in the graphic design space, delivering good quality work, because unfortunately there are some people out there that use the title but don't quite deliver the goods.
Yes, which takes one bad for a client to use another designer.
Yeah.
So putting your best forward and backing up your work. So really show your client that you've put thought into it, and it makes them feel like this design is actually thought into it. They've cared, they've done research into it, and this is why they put the dot in the top left corner. It's, all the reasons why you've done something.
Absolutely. And so tell me about that, because I know in my experience and working with people, graphic design, it is quite a personal thing. So I'm sure that you would have had some clients that your visions weren't aligned, or you just didn't gel as people. Are you able to talk to me about that?
Yeah.
If you don't mind going there.
No, that's fine. Like, as a designer, you've really got to have a thick skin. You can't be too sensitive. If somebody doesn't like a design, you just got to go, no worries, like, let's move on, let's try and find something you do like. In regards to having very different visions, I did have this one client who really just didn't listen to anything, and he had a particular vision that I didn't really agree on, and you kind of fight your battles. You come to the table with reasons why you would push a different direction. But sometimes you've got to not give up, but go, all right, you know what, they want that, I'm going to do that for them to the best of my ability. And they're still a client today, and they are super happy with everything I do, and I'm like, sure, great. But I think it's not your, it's your clients, and it's not your product. It's not what you're trying to sell. Like, it's, as the designer, it's your job to please your client, but also to make sure that they are promoting their product or their service to the best of their ability. I don't know if that really answers the question.
No, absolutely.
Pick your battles, but always just don't give up. Like, give them what they want in the best way possible.
Yeah, well, that's it, because it's around interpreting, isn't it, what your client's vision is. And so you've got to take their vision, don't you, and do something with that visually and creatively. And that's,
Look good and also work.
yes.
Never burn a bridge. So as
Mhm.
much as you don't agree with the client, just, they're the ones who pay you in the end. They're the ones that
Yeah.
refer you to other people.
Yeah.
I guess be genuine in your battles with them.
So, so one of the things you also spoke about too, right, just going back a little bit, that I want to touch on, you spoke about when you first got started and realizing then that you didn't have a weekly pay packet, and that was a bit like, whoa, okay. So talk to me about, how did you go about setting your prices, not doing free work for people, which can be a real trap for creatives, and then how you made sure that you got paid.
I definitely looked at the industry. I asked a lot of other freelancers kind of like what they're getting paid, but I also felt to myself like the level I was at. I made a conscious decision that this is my rate. I'm not going lower. I would rather not work than work for free or work for less. I felt that if I ended up starting out at a low rate, you end up spending years trying to get up to where you should have been. I felt for years that in the job I'd been in, I was doing so much work and I wasn't getting paid enough anyway. So I didn't want to go in a freelance world and feel the same way. So yeah, set my rate, stuck by it. They haven't actually. There's a lot of my clients that are still at my original rate. I'm sorry, what are the other questions? Like, somebody can't understand.
That's okay. Yeah, it was about setting your rate, not doing free work, which I think you've said that was that for you was about, it's turning around and going, no, I refuse to go back to be earning the same amount of money that I was earning when I was in a wage. I value myself too much. I'm not doing anything for free. And valuing your work too, because I mean, I think that's really important as well, valuing your work.
And I also found that if you set your rate at a level that you're happy with, you're actually willing to put the effort in and work harder. If it's a really low rate or you're working for free, you do the work super fast or you don't care about it because you're like, well, I'm not really getting paid for it. I did have to turn down, like one of my friends came to me and she asked for a logo and I came to her with my bottom of like the friends deal price.
Yes.
And she was like, oh, that's a lot. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I've got to pay bills. I can't spend my time doing work for a tenth of the price. I'd rather spend that time marketing myself or going out and meeting people or putting my name out there or working on my website. And I was, as I said, like I was always thought to myself, well, what's the worst that could happen? I've got to go, give myself a few months and then I can always get freelance somewhere or, find another job. And I just, I think if you just make that decision in your head, I feel like the universe provides.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the no-go zone. It's like asking a plumber to do, come and fix something for free or build you a deck for free. It's just not happen.
Because a lot of people really struggle with that, particularly when they first get started, that they feel as though, oh, look, any work's better than no work. So if I just do it, at least I'm getting my name out there. But going back to exactly what you said there, talking about, I'm just going to rush it. I'm not going to put everything into it. That how that makes you feel. And also, too, there's better things that you could be doing with your time.
Well, promoting yourself, the 5 hours on a free job, imagine what you can do with 5 hours working on your own job. You can work on like a made-up design and put on bespoke or promote it on Instagram, or track down a business that you really want to work with and put a pitch document together for them. So that would actually be more beneficial than doing a job for free. That's the way that I thought about it.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So just sticking with money then, the other question I asked was getting paid, because again, that's sometimes, particularly being a solo business owner who's just transitioned out from corporate, you're wearing all those different hats. your main passion, your main love is design. It's not getting on the phone and saying, hey, look, you know, my invoice has been sitting there. Yeah. Yeah. So can you share your experience around that, Justine?
At first, I'm pretty sure my first invoice took me half a day to send because I felt so weird about asking for money. However, when I set the business up, I set it up thinking to myself, it's going to be good one day, it's going to be big one day, I'm going to set it up one thing. I'm not going to, I guess, unorganized. So I used Xero, which is a beautiful accounting program. I set it up all legit. I was sending my invoices out through Xero, and I think looking really professional, sending it from an accounts. I had like 3 different email addresses. Accounts, when the business started, it was called White Dutch. So accounts at White Dutch. I had my own email address and inquiries. All the invoices went out from an accounts email to an accounts person at their company. If they didn't, I had a due date set there. If they didn't pay, I would follow up with a nice email of, hey, how's this invoice is following up? I think I've only ever had to follow up an invoice twice, and I always do it by email. I feel like a phone call. I haven't had to hit a phone call yet.
Mm-hmm.
But also, before starting any project with a new client, get them to sign a contract.
Yes.
If it's a big project, they will pay 50% deposit. And I kind of get a feeling for them then, if they pay the deposit literally within that week. I was like, they've got the money for the job, that's fine. But yeah, I think setting yourself up and looking professional. People don't want to mess with, the account's at the email address because they don't actually know who's behind it.
Yeah.
So and that.
There's some really great tips in there, Justine. Thank you so much for sharing that. Between valuing yourself, not doing things for free, how the use of your time, that you're better off actually going out and generating more business rather than doing work for free. And I love that too, getting people to sign a contract and pay 50% up front, which really makes sure and guarantees that, it follows through and gets, and then it gets paid for you. So, which is fantastic.
We're fine with the 50% deposit up front. It helps the client to fully commit. They've already committed then and they're involved. Once they're a consistent client, I don't do that anymore because it's kind of like prove yourself on that one, that first job, and then afterwards we'll just build. I say we because I'm in a company now, but I would have just built afterwards. But sorry, going back to the free work, one thing I did do some pro bono, which I think one free job, which was pro bono, only because I'm a softie to community stuff, and that's the only I would ever if I feel like the cause is worth it and I really want to help a community program out or something, then I do it for free work.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we all, well, not we all, but I mean, most people donate to charities or support charities in their own way. And, if there's a passion project that you have, then, yeah, absolutely, go there. Now, you just...
beautiful appreciation as well.
Yeah. Now, you just mentioned too that you've now transitioned to freelance, that you're in a company, so a creative agency now, which is Malone and Camille Creative Agency. Can you share about how that came about and just exactly what happened to make that happen?
Well, I was on my own for a while, combination of freelancing at the AFL and handling my own clients. And it kind of, everything started getting a little bit crazy. I got a big contract with one of my clients now that allowed me, sadly, to have to leave freelancing at the AFL and go 100% into White Dutch. There's just a lot going on. It's just little old me managing it all, and
that's it. It can sometimes get a bit overwhelming, can't it, when you're just one person? Yeah.
Look, I could have expanded and started using other designers and stuff, but I got into a conversation with another designer that I knew from her studio. It's called Just Camille Design Studio, And she had a couple of clients as well, and she wanted to really delve into her business but didn't want to do it alone. And I was like, well, I kind of need some help in my business. And I am a mum, and she's also a mum, and it's kind of nice to have that, not backup, but like team effort. So we juggle a lot now. And we decided, well, why don't we merge all the clients? That way they get two people that are managing the projects. It also allows us to branch out and start using, external photographers and copywriters and other designers, and it's not all on one person. So the more we talked about it, the easier life kind of started looking in my head. And so we did the merge. White Dutch, I'd had it for about 4 years, and then we did the merge. And yeah, it's just grown since then now, because there's two of us to manage parts of the business. One of us will go and find new work while the other one's maybe managing the external contractors, and then we'll juggle between the designs between us. So that's kind of going. Not sure what the next phase is. So we'll see.
You just jumped onto my next question there. It was going to be, so how do you see that going next? But not too sure yet. So,
well, I mean, I always love the idea of having like a bustling little studio. I love supporting mums who work. Being a mum myself, our hours are just stupid. They're not conventional, and I totally understand them. My dream, I guess, is to have a studio that has contracted mums that work. They can work from 10 till 3, so you can do your school drop off and pick up, and that's fine, because I know that we work damn hard. So that's probably our next step, is to. I mean, at the moment we outsource a lot of our work if we need some help. But as I said, copywriters or contractors or anything. But having them in a studio could be kind of cool. So that could probably be our next step.
That sounds very cool. Very, very cool. So was there any challenges coming together, or was it really quite organic and natural for you both?
We came from very different backgrounds. So I had been running White Dutch for a bit longer. So Emma had to take over all of my systems, with accounting and filing, and she had to learn a lot of my clients that run us now. So I think it was more of a challenge for her to have to just learn my end of the business. But we both brought in aspects that have, I guess, enriched the company. From a design point of view, if we both hit up a design, it's always better than just one of us on them. We don't live very close to each other, which is annoying. I wish she lived close.
Yep.
She did, and then moved. But I think that's it at the moment. And I guess learning the juggle between our lives, because as I said, we're both mums. Her family life is different to my family life, and my work hours and I guess morals and ethics are different to hers. So it's taken a few months to kind of figure each other's lives out and connect and blend. But we got there in the end. Yeah, but there's nothing really huge. We knew each other for about 3 years before we merged. So it wasn't like a new person or anything. So,
well, I guess it's kind of like a second marriage almost, isn't it? Because you've got to be very compatible to work together.
Everything is fine. Every decision you make, you talk to each other. You're on the phone every day or email. You see each other. Your bank accounts, all of that stuff. It's literally, I've got 2 marriages.
Yeah. A high level of trust. Yes.
Yeah, very much. You have to. I have found being a solo business owner for 4 years and then going into a partnership. You just have to like let go. Everything, just have full complete trust. Otherwise, it's not going to work. You can't count the hours you work or the money you bring in or the clients you bring in. You just have to say, it's just like a marriage. It's like what yours is mine, what's mine is yours. There'll be ebbs and flows. You back each other up, you help each other out when you can, your marriage.
Now, Justine, as a graphic designer, I would really love for you to share with our audience some tips for how them as business owners themselves can get the most out of working with a graphic designer. Why? Look, first of all, I guess the question is, why would, I know the answer to this because I think it's just, I absolutely know why I would want to, but why would somebody actually want to invest in working with a graphic designer as opposed to sort of doing things on their own? I guess that's probably the best way to look at it.
Well, it's hard for new businesses because obviously their marketing budget's tiny and there are areas out there that they can build their own logo or build their own flyer, which might be good for the first year just as a, I always feel like businesses need their testing period. But if you really, as a business, want to make really get out into your industry, it's not just about putting a photo and some words on a piece of paper and calling it a flyer. There's a lot of strategy behind it. Branding, the word seems small, but it's so much bigger than what people think. It's the brand story, it's the message, it's the everything that you put out from your business. There's a lot of trial and error, like for a website, for example. Yes, you can build your own website, and I think it's totally fine as a startup, as a trial. But, where you place your content, the style of imagery, the mood, the allocation of buttons, the words you use, like it's all from experience, what works and what doesn't. The big companies, they hire designers and agencies and pay a lot of money because they know that the research and experience is going into it. I always go back to the trades. We wouldn't hire an apprentice plumber why do I keep using plumbing? Let's say electrician.
Okay, let's move trades, yes.
You fire up your house. You're like, yeah, I'm sure you'll do a good job, but it's probably better to invest in like a qualified electrician to do it.
Yes. Yep. So then
you get what you pay for.
Yeah. So then, as a new small business or as a new business even starting out, what are some of the things that they would want to look for when or think about when looking to work with a graphic designer?
Get along with them. Have a chat. If you feel synergy between them, feel that they understand you. Look at their work. If you like the kind of style of work that they are producing, that's their style, that's their thing. Obviously, their fees need to fit in with your budget. Look at, I think those are the key things. If you get along with them and you feel them, that's important.
I agree. I think having that nice connection. Now, you touched on their fees, working with fees. Now, for a lot of people, they've got no idea. It's how long is that piece of string? So are you able just to share, not that you need to go in too deep, but maybe give some people a bit of an idea on, how much it does cost to work with a designer. And of course, there's different designers at different grade levels. You've got a typesetter through all the way up to a creative genius that you've got to work with. But just as a bit of a ballpark, Justine, what are you able to share there?
Well, I think if you hit up a sole trader with, senior designer, sole trader with a few clients and some experience, and I'm talking in Melbourne, and this is just what I know, it could be different. You should be looking anywhere at like a minimum of between $60 and $80 an hour, an absolute minimum to pay. I would always suggest, anybody who charges between 80 and 120 as a sole trader, they're charging that for a reason. They've got experience. They're usually fast with their work. They know what they're doing. They can not read your mind, but after a conversation with you, they understand what you want. So there's a lot less back and forth. After sole traders, then you go into companies, and their fees can be anywhere from $120 to $300 an hour. And then when you go into an agency, that just goes into, you know, hundreds, I guess, but they don't really charge per hour. There's a lot of people, I mean, it's kind of shifting between hourly rate for a job and value per project, like value rate. So if you have to go to a big agency, you are not just covering the fee for the designer, you're covering the fee for the art director, for the copywriters, for the account managers, for the creative director. And that's all really important because the copywriters are ensuring that the copy you're using is really going to be effective with your target audience. The creative director makes sure that the creative is literally directed at your target audience. It's different, it's new. The account managers ensure that the projects are running on deadline and they're tracking everything. So that's where your money goes. So those are kind of the levels that I know and that I've experienced.
Yeah. No, thank you. I think you've explained that so very, very well. Thank you.
So designers out there that are annoyed that I probably got the fees all wrong.
But. No, look, it's just a ballpark, because I know that a lot of people that I speak to, they just don't know, and they don't know what they don't know, and it's just to help to give them a bit of an idea. So just sort of sticking on that too, then, just as a bit of an idea. So, if, for example, if we're talking about, if we're talking to a sole trader graphic designer, and we ask them to do up an A4 flyer for us at $80 odd an hour or so, would our expectations be 20 hours to get that done, or maybe 5 hours to get that done? Or it could be anywhere in between that, can't it?
It really should be more. Again, every brief is different. So the designer could say to you, I will give you 3 different designs, then you choose one design, and from the design you have 3 rounds of changes. Within that, we are going to charge you X amount of dollars. So say that particular designer thinks that all of that will take them like 6 hours, and they charge for that. Or if the client comes to you and says, I've got a really tiny budget, but I really need this A4 flyer, then the designer might say, cool, I will charge you 2-3 hours, but you get one design. You got to like it. Or, we're going to talk a lot before we design. We're going to talk about the imagery, the words and everything, the colors. You get one concept, and then we would just make changes from that concept. So you pay what you get for. Again, there's this one agency out there that I can't remember their name, but whenever they sign a new client, they send them this YouTube video or this video that's out there, and it's all these kids, like little kids in a classroom, and the teacher says to the kids, you've got 1 minute to draw, was it 1 minute? Like 10 seconds to draw a heart, or 30 seconds to draw a heart. And all the kids, they succeed, they draw the heart. It's either some of them have just coloured it in, or some of them it's just like a nice little heart or 2 little hearts or whatever. So everybody's hearts look beautiful. And then she says, great, now you have got 10 minutes to draw a heart. And these kids draw all these beautiful things that are past the heart. It's like maybe a heart running and sweating in his little shoes, or it's a rainbow heart up in the sky with, birds flying, or, whatever. They've developed their idea further because they had more time. And I love that idea, because that's exactly what it is like with the designer. The more time you give them, the better the outcome is going to be. And well, time is money, unfortunately, but that's I was like, yeah.
I love that. That's a great way to look at it, and a great way to put it. So you can't rush the creative process at all, and you do need to give things the time required to create something beautiful. Now, one of the things you also touched on was on the time that it's going to take to do a job is it depends on the brief you've been given. So the better the brief that you are given right at the start, the easier it is to create that job. So what are some of the key things that is really important for you when getting a brief from one of your clients?
To save time, if there are any images that the client already uses, if they're high res, obviously, send those through. The copy, if it's really well thought out, there's no errors or changes. If they know what their heading is, they know what their content, they have their contact details, all send it through. Obviously, we'll have a discussion about if it's an April flyer, like why do you need this poster or flyer? Who's your target audience? What is the purpose of it? Like, what is the end product? Do you want them to come into your store? Do you want to sell a product? And then, if they come to the table with the copy and the imagery, that will obviously decrease the cost because they're taking that on board with their time. If they come to the table and say, I just need a flyer to promote, my product, but I have no images, I don't have no content, obviously that's going to like quadruple the time because the designer needs to then source a variety of images that then the client needs to approve. We need to use copywriters to come up with some copy for the product. We need to understand the product. So the more the client can do on their end, the more affordable it'll be. And this is basically for small businesses. Large businesses, they may just pay the designer or the agency to do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, that helps. So basically, so long as a business owner, engaging the services of a graphic designer, be organised, have images ready to go, logos ready to go, and the content in particular, to have given that a little bit of thought as well. So basically that all just reduces down your time so that you get it all going in one hit. Now, is there any other hints, tips, or tricks that you'd like to share with our audience?
I guess I'll just go back to like who your designer is, enjoy working with them. If they're the kind of person that you feel comfortable just emailing ad hoc or picking up the phone, or you're happy to hear from them and you have a good relationship, then you're probably going to get some pretty good designs out of them because you understand each other. Pay your designer on time. It's always a bonus. They'll then work for you fast. Trust. If your designer's got enough skill, trust. Listen to what your designer's saying and trust them. If they come to the table and they're really pushing an idea, just kind of hear it out.
Look, I think that is fantastic. Thank you so much. You have shared some absolute gold between your transition with getting started into your business through to some really great tips that people can put in place for using a graphic designer. And, it's definitely well worth the investment to work with a good, strong graphic designer. Definitely enhances your business, your profile, and the brand, of course, most of all. Well, Justine, thank you so very much for your time. Now, people can find you at Malone and Camille Creative Agency online, your website, and on Instagram, of course, because that is absolutely the place where designers showcase their work. So check that out. Yes, and so encourage everybody to go and check out some of the work that Malone and Camille Creative Agency do, and
my website.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, hey, it could be a really great starting place for a lot of businesses to get some amazing creative happening for their organisation. Thank you so much for your time, Justine. I really appreciate it. Everybody else, thank you so much too for your time. We really appreciate you watching. Like always, we'd love to hear your thoughts. So please share some feedback in the comments section below. And of course, if there is somebody who you think can benefit from what you've heard today that Justine has shared, please feel free to share as well. So thanks. Bye.